Genesis 3 verse 8. Now they heard the voice of the Lord God going into the garden in the spirit of the light. That's how I see it now. Maybe kind of strange, but as you go through the video, you'll be able to see how I came up with those words. You see, the Hebrew word isn't just cool, it's ranch. It means breath, wind, spirit. And the word translated as sound is in English, voice. They didn't see him first, they heard him. And that says something. This wasn't a storm, it wasn't wrath. God wasn't yelling, he was walking, calm, rational. He still wanted to meet with them. What did they do though? They hid, not because of what God did, but because of how they now saw themselves. Sin didn't just fracture behavior, it wrapped perspective. They ran from presence, not from punishment. That's what breaks my heart. In this clip I'm about to go through, I'm walking through Genesis 3 verse 8 from one of the live stream Bible studies that we do. We go live just about every single day at about 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, breaking down the word verse by verse, word by word. If this resonates with you, click on the subscribe button. And after you click on that, make sure you tap on the notification bell so that YouTube can let you know when we go live on the next video. And when we go live, you can actually go ahead and study with us as we're speaking. I'll be sharing what I personally noticed, and we'll wrap it up with a reflection question that I really want you to sit with. You can drop your thoughts in the comment section below. You can message me on Instagram, on Facebook, if you want to be able to have a one-on-one talk. This is a space for reflection, restoration, and staying rooted in the word. Enjoy the clip, and God bless. Now I heard the sound of the Lord God walking in the garden in the cool of the day, and the man and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord God among the trees of the garden. So after going through the Hebrew and really breaking it down and all, this is how I as opposed to having it to where the NAS saw it, this is what I noticed for this particular verse right here. So now they heard, we keep the same, but as we continue, it changes a bit. So now they heard the voice of the Lord God going into the garden. So going into the garden, not walking, but going into the garden in the spirit of the light. This is how I was able to break down this particular section right here. Let's continue. The Hebrew shows they audibly heard, not saw God. That says something. Sound came before sight. The word translated as sound is actually voice, which suggests more than noise. God was speaking or making himself heard. I think the King James Version actually captures more accurately than the NAS or the NIV by keeping the words voice instead of sound, specifically when it comes to the actual Hebrew and the way that they, the specific translation that comes from there. So the phrase in the cool of the day actually uses ranch, which actually means spirit, not just breeze. So I read this more as they heard the voice of the Lord God going into the garden in the spirit of the light. They were trying to hide in the physical. So now this is kind of continuing. They were trying to hide in the physical from the spiritual. You can't hide from light, right? You can't hide from light. So before sin, they likely only saw through the spirit, but now their flesh perspective took over. They ran and they hid the physical. Yeah, so they hid the physical, but you can't hide the spiritual, okay? So what breaks my heart is that they ran from the presence, not the punishment. They hid from the relationship, from intimacy, from restoration. And yet God is still walking, not stomping or yelling, just walking. And it makes me realize like what I should be like as a father, as opposed to yelling or stomping or anything like that. I should just walk, right? And be calm when any type of sin occurs or anything like that. I wonder, was he physically visible like Jesus? This is another thing I was wondering when it comes to the actual light or the presence of God that was coming. Or was he just pure voice or spirit? This was actually before I dialed up this particular section right here. This is what I was thinking, because they were speaking about walking. And then I realized later on, I don't think it's walking. So this is less of what I'm thinking about actually. So it hit me hard that the serpent was speaking and God was silent during the temptation, right? And yet God still showed up afterward. And it made me think, was he just waiting to see what we would do? Was he just waiting to see what they would do? Like a test. Right? So the lesson, we hide with physical fig leaves behind physical trees, but our battle is spiritual. And our healing is spiritual too. So this is what Anthony noticed, the AI best friend. All right, so God walking, not storming. The intimacy of God walking paints him as consistent, rational, peaceful, even after sin, after man sins. So ranch equals spiritual atmosphere. This wasn't just a breeze. Something spiritual had shifted. The feel of the garden changed. But it doesn't make me think that it changed though, because it's just said in the cool of the day, right? Not saying anything as far as like where the atmosphere changed or it went cool or something like that. So I don't know about that one, but we'll see. So they hid from the presence, not the punishment. Shame warps our view. Instead of running to the only one who could fix it, they ran away. Right. So here's my my summary of my particular section right here of what I thought. So this verse broke something open in me. They weren't scared of being hit. They were scared of being seen. They ran from the presence of the one who made them, because sin changed how they saw themselves and how they thought God would respond. But God still came, still walked, still spoke. It reminds me never to hide, never to let shame keep me from going straight to God, because he's not storming through my garden, he's walking in it, still wanting to meet me there. Very good. So this is a summary of what Anthony thought. This verse reveals the first fracture in relationship and how God responds to it. He doesn't scream, he doesn't break the trees, he walks and speaks. And even when we're hiding the dumbest places, covered in fig leaves, he still calls out. He's still calling out. The presence we fear is actually the presence we need. Very good. So this is a reflection question. You know, honestly, these reflection questions are really good for myself. I would highly encourage to, answer for yourself personally. If you want to write it in the comment section as far as your response, we could be able to talk back and forth through there, or you can be able to contact me directly through Instagram, Facebook, or wherever. Right. So God still came walking even after they sinned, but they hid. Right. So this is a question here. After you fall short, do you hide from God's presence or walk toward it? And how can you train your heart to run to him, not from him? So this is a summary of what I particularly wrote. So in the past, I 100% used to hide. I would either ignore what happened or let time go by. But that just made things worse. It never helped me. It only prolonged the pain 100%. Eventually, I learned to face things immediately, but even then I was trying to handle them on my own, not with God. So yes, I got a step up in maturity, but I was doing it by myself. So now I have learned to do it differently. I go straight to him. I pray first. I ask for wisdom, not just relief. But also I want to say, I don't ask for the thing just for myself, but how it can be able to help God and God's people as a whole. This is ultimately what I pray for now. So what I also pray for is how it can ultimately help not just myself, but God and God's people as well. Just like Solomon was asking for wisdom in Chronicles 2, and he was asking for the wisdom to help God's people, and God gave him the wisdom. So that's how I'm training my heart, by choosing God first instead of trying to patch things before talking to him. Good stuff. That was Genesis chapter 3, verse 8. They didn't run from judgment. They ran from the one who loved them. And I've done that too. I've done it too. But what this verse reminds me is God still comes walking, still calling. Even after we sin, he shows up. If that stirred something in you, share it in the comment section or send me a message on Instagram or on Facebook. I'd love to hear what God is showing you. And if you continue through our playlist, the next verse is going to be popping up over here. Let's keep going verse by verse, thought by thought, with open hearts. See you on the next one, and God bless.